with the intro. So, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to this edition of the NITheCS Micro-school. My name is Dean Brand. I'm a second-year PhD student at Stellenbosch University, working with Professor Francesco Petruccione, who's the director of NITheCS. Today's topic will be mastering citation management with Zotero, which is a crucial tool for anyone writing scientific work or doing any research involving a lot of references, which can get out of hand pretty quickly. The talk today is given by Omid Hassasfar, who is also a second-year PhD student at Stellenbosch University, working also with Professor Francesco Petruccione. He's an international student who completed his bachelor's and master's in theoretical physics in Iran. He's also active in the field of promoting quantum computing, being a co-founder of Q South Africa and Q Iran, while also being a Qiskit advocate. His research is focused on quantum biology, which is an exciting interdisciplinary field of cutting-edge research involving a lot of subfields of other quantum mechanics aspects. As an experienced researcher, he's a great person to learn from how to manage many of these references, as well as integrating these references into any piece of writing that you might be busy with. With that, I'd like to hand over to Omid to get started with the demonstration. And if there are any questions or comments from the participants, I invite you to put them in the chat where we can address them throughout the talk. So, Omid, the floor is yours.
Hey, thank you very much, Tim, for introduction. Let me share my screen and then start. Okay, let's share my entire screen. It's better because I want to show the Zotero software as well. Okay, it's like a very quick agenda because it's a micro school. We just want to quickly cover the basic of the Zotero. First of all, why we need a reference manager? Because we want to save a lot of time and we want to avoid manually adding our citation, which is a boring and not very efficient way to do that. And different journals and different publishers have different guideline and style. And I'm going to show you how can you add those styles from different journals. And we want to make sure that it's almost 100% correctly formatted. I mentioned almost because sometimes you need to, it's better to always check. Okay, first step is to, of course, get the Zotero account. You need to download it. I don't want to show you all the steps of how to install it because it's very easy. It's a free software, just a couple of next and then finish, and then you have Zotero. It's like the download page is something like this. And of course, it has the Zotero version for all different types of the operating system. You can click on download. And that's the important part here. For example, I'm on the Windows machine, so I need to click here and then download and install it. It's easy process, but that's also very, very important to don't forget to install Zotero connector, which is a Chrome extension. And in my opinion, it's the best and the most popular way to add your citation, because usually you are reading your papers on the browser, and with just one click you can add the citation to your library. Okay, let's assume that we install this because it's a very easy process. When you install Zotero on your Windows, you will have something like this. As I say, okay, you can search here for Zotero and then you can open it. I've already opened it. This is the software UI, user interface, then you can see it. But what about the extension? When you install the extension, there is the extension bar here. I'm in the Google Chrome. I'm sure that if you are on the Firefox or Opera or probably Safari, all of them has this extension. You can click here and then you can have this extension bar here. Okay, I will explain how to add with this extension bar. But okay, let's assume that we have this one, and then you need to register here, of course. Then you can do it. You go to the registration. It's just a simple sign-in process. Then you can do it with your email account, Gmail, this kind of stuff. Okay, that's the first step, which is step 0. And I recently realized that even recently, they added the mobile version as well, and you can go to the Google Play or App Store and install it. That's also interesting. Okay, the next step is that I recommend that sync your account. So when you install the Zotero, you can go to the edit button and then setting, and you can go to the sync. Okay, I already sync my Zotero web library, which is a web browser. I'm going to show you with this. I've already synced it, so you see that here my username is here, and that's the first step that you need to do to sync your software in your local machine with the Zotero on the web. So don't forget to do that. It's just edit, sync, edit setting and sync. That's very important. And when you add this and go to the cite tab, if you scroll, there is a word processing option here. So when you install it, it usually automatically install on your word processors. If you are using Microsoft Word, the Microsoft add-in also is, you see that is installed. I didn't install anything extra. For example, Mendeley, if I'm not mistaken, you need to manually go to add-in part in your Word, Microsoft Word, and install it manually. But for the Zotero, it's very nice that it's already installed. But if there is some conflict, you can reinstall it from this tab. Yeah, of course, it has LibreOffice. If I'm not mistaken, this is for Linux user. I'm not Linux user, so I'm just going to show you in the Microsoft Word. So if you install it in the Microsoft Word, this is just a plain page. So if you look at this tab, there should be a Zotero tab here if the installation is right. There should be a Zotero tab here. Then I'm going to show you how to add citation and then add a bibliography. But keep in mind, for the other, for example, reference manager, maybe there is another tab like a reference here. Then you can see, for example, my Mendeley site is here. But for Zotero, we have like a separate tab. Just keep in mind if you work with different reference manager. Okay, let's go back to our stuff here. Yeah, you already installed the Zotero connector, which is the most important part for your browser extension. If you are thinking about the plan and price, you can quickly click here and see the plan and price. I use the free version, which is more than enough. I think the free version is 300 megabytes. I've already added a lot of, I didn't count, but it's a lot of reference in my library. And you see that my library is 4.7 megabytes. So it's 1.6%. So I think 300 megabytes is more than enough if you are writing paper, writing your PhD thesis, this kind of stuff. But some people prefer to download the PDF version, not just the correctly formatted citation. But in that case, yeah, you can select a plan and pay like 20 bucks. But in general, free version is more than enough. And that's why I need to mention this as well, because at the beginning, when I wanted to work with Zotero, I realized that this 4 megabyte was something much bigger, close to my 300 megabyte. And it was weird for me that I realized that, okay, I need to go to the edit setting and then file handling here. So you need to go to, let me close this, edit setting, general, and then file handling. Where is it? Yeah, here. So by default, you need to untick this automatically attach associated PDF and other file when saving items. So you need to untick this, and also I think these items, because otherwise you can just only add a few reference in your reference manager, which is not nice. Okay, and you don't need this PDF. You can just download this PDF separately, put in your local machine, because you only have 300 megabytes. Keep in mind, this is also important. Okay, let me close this one and back to our agenda. Okay, you know that the plan and pricing, you know how to untick the boxes. Okay, apart from the app or software that I install in my Windows machine and also the Google extension, you can have this web-based library. This is essentially the same things. Okay, you have this one, and this is essentially the same things as I have in my app, as I installed in my local machine. So these are not two different things, but just keep in mind you can have a track of your changes in both a web-based or what you installed here. Okay, just wanted to quickly mention. Okay, so we have, I've already mentioned the desktop-based Zotero, but there are some bunch of options that I can cover as well. But let's say we have a paper here. Okay, there are generally three different methods that you can add this paper to your library. Okay, first of all, it's the least popular way is add it manually. So this is my software, my Zotero app, and then you can click here, new item. Okay, you can click on the new item and you can see the long list of book section, journal article. We usually interested in journal, but you can add whatever you want. Even you can add, I think, picture, video, this kind of map, film, lots of things. Okay, but my focus is only journal article and book. So you can click on journal article, and then there are a bunch of fields. Just fill all of them, and then you can fill all of them, and then your paper will be added. Okay, that's the first method, but because this is manual and our goal is to save time. Okay, so I don't recommend this unless you have to, because I think 95%, 99% Zotero format is correct. But sometimes maybe it's an old paper like that published in 1920, okay, 100 years ago, and then you want to add it manually, yeah, you can do it here. But the second method is use the identifier. Okay. And Zotero accept a range of identifiers, ISBN, DOI, these are even archive ID. So let me show you how you can add, for example, there's just an example of the paper here, the future of quantum biology. And you see here we have our identifier. You can just copy it, Control C, and then go to the Zotero library and click on the identifier and click here and then enter. Yeah, and you see that this is new paper that I just added to my library. So just click the identifier and copy your identifier. Here is DOI. It could be other types of identifier as well, and then copy and paste here in the identifier, and then you can have your journal in your library. Okay. In the library, I need to mention that this is, I just added to the general library. Okay. That's why if I go to here in my unfiled items, this paper is unfiled because I didn't specify any folder. In Zotero language, we call folder as a collection. So you can click here in the My Library and then right click and create a new collection. Okay. New collection is similar to the folder. You want to create a folder to keep everything organized. Because you want to write a paper in the specific topic, so you can put all the reference related to that specific topic to this new collection. So, and then you can write a name here, for example, my new paper, I don't know, something like that, and then create it. And then there is a new folder or new collection here. And the interesting things is then you can create a click here and create a new sub collection. So you can create in the sub collection new paper, for example, sub. Okay, this is just arbitrary name. And then if you create on the collection, so you see that this is my main library, but this is my specific folder in a library, and there is a subfolder in my library, and then you can continue this in a sub collection, this kind of stuff, and then you rename it, delete it, and so on and so forth. Okay, that's also interesting. So, but I told you about adding items manually, adding items with identifier, and the last things is okay. Yeah, there is also one method. Let me just delete this. This is just extra stuff. Okay, you can also, there is a bunch of options here. Duplicate items. My publication. If you have a publication, you can drag and drop your publication here. There is a duplicate option here. So Zotero is very clever. You can help you to don't use duplicate reference here. So here you can see that there is two different items here, which is the same, and then you can check which technically which one is the better. I think if you have more information, that was better. So now I'm gonna try to, because here I have the journal abbreviation, for example, here I don't have, so I'm gonna keep this. How can I keep just one items? I can just merge two items. So if I click on the merge, so you see that I don't have any duplicate item, that all of them are in the just only one correct one. Okay. I mentioned the my publication, duplicate item, unfiled items, and blah, blah. Okay. Let's go to the paper again, this paper. So that, what is the third method? You don't want to add it manually. You don't want even to copy paste. Okay, this is the most easiest method. Then you are in this page and you install your Zotero connector, and you have the this is the Zotero extension or connector. Okay, you can click here, just right click here, and then you can save this item to your library. And if you have already let's say created a collection of folder, you can add directly to that folder. Let me just add to this new paper sub, and then done. Yeah. And then you can go to your Zotero, and then you see, if I come here to my new paper sub, this paper is here. Okay, of course, because probably I added the same paper. If I go to the duplicate, it's duplicated again. So all in all, we have learned how to add, with 3 different methods, how to add citation. Okay, let's back to our agenda quickly, because okay, this is Word, this is my, we don't have a lot of time, this is a micro school. Probably I cannot cover this, maybe in the separate micro school. Okay, manually reference, DOI, this kind of stuff. I duplicate item, I mentioned about it, but let's just finish this micro school with the reference list or bibliography, which is where the magic happens. Okay, you can open your Word file, okay, and you can write whatever you want, but for example, this is first citation. Okay, you wrote something, and now let's say you are writing your papers, you want to add citation here. Okay, this is my Microsoft Word. I told you that even you install Zotero, there should be a tab here, and if you click on this tab, you should see these options: add/edit citation, add/edit bibliography. Okay, if I click on add/citation, first of all, that's very important. You see a list of style that Zotero has it by default. Okay. If you can find your specific journal article like IEEE Nature, okay, you can just click. But if you cannot find it here, there is an option that manage style. Okay, so you can click on manage style and should brings you to the to this page, and then you can search. Okay, you can search. I don't know, for example. Let me just close this again. Okay. Let me tell you what happened exactly, but there should be a option that you can search your managers. But I can show you within the Zotero software. But let's assume that we want to use IEEE, which is a famous. Okay, and let's say, okay, I want to add my citation. How can I find? Okay, let's say I have added 100 reference in my Zotero reference manager. How can I find it? There are different options. You can find by author. You can find by author name, year. I don't know. For example, if you search 100, 1996, for example, I have one paper that I know that paper published in 1996, so I can click here. And but even you can, for example, I know that there is a author which is Turin that I want to find that one. Then you can find this one. You can click here and then enter. So you can see this is the style of IEEE. So you can change it. I will show you how to change the style. But let's say, okay, and my second reference. Okay, my second reference, let's say, again, add to the citation. And yeah, I told you, you can search by author's name, by the year, or even by the paper name. I don't know, radical, for example. Yeah. Let's say I want to add this one. So there you have a lot of options to search your. Okay. And you have added this reference to the paper, and then you want to add your, let's say, bibliography here. Okay. And this is where the magic happens. You don't need to do it manually, of course. That's the main purpose. And just you can click here, and with one click, you see that all these three references that I mentioned here appears here. So this is my first one, second one, and the third one. Okay, and then I've already covered most important part, except that I don't exactly know. Yeah, finally, yeah. You can even click on document preferences. Let's say you have added your reference and you have added your bibliography, but now you decided to send your paper to Nature, not to IEEE. Okay, or you want to add another. Okay, finally now it's open. So you can search here by your the domain or by your field, or you can just search the name of the journal. I don't know, let's say American. Do we have something like this? Yeah, American, I don't know, for example, entomologist, for example. Let's say I'm gonna add this one, and then you can use it. So this is not very difficult. And then you have a preview here. So you see that American entomologist, the journal, or something that added here, then I can now use this one. Okay, so I can use this one to add or change my journal format. Okay, technically we cover most important things. Of course, if you are a physicist, mathematician, you are a fan of Overleaf, you can use this there in Overleaf. There are some tricks that you can use it. Maybe we can consider another micro school to how to use Zotero in the Overleaf. And yeah, I covered this one, and yeah, I covered also this one. How can you add one or even multiple citation in just one single point in your journal, on your paper. There is also built-in PDF viewer in Zotero. You can annotate, you can open, but as I mentioned, it's better to, if you want to use the free version, it's better to don't at least download all the PDFs, because at the end you have to buy the premium version. What I showed you here in the Microsoft Word, you can exactly do the same process in the Google Docs. Okay, it is a Google Docs. You can click on Zotero here, and then you have all this stuff here. Add citation, and then add bibliography, and then this is pretty much similar to the Microsoft Word. And yeah, let me just stop here. Probably there should be maybe 1-2 questions that we can answer if you have. Okay. Thank you so much for listening. Dean, do we have any question?
Yes, thanks, Omid. I think it was a very good talk, very interesting to see how to navigate Zotero very easily, and I'm sure many people will enjoy it quite a bit. There is one question about local LaTeX editor, such as Text Studio, which is not as easy built in with Overleaf, but I believe there is a way.
Yeah, that's a very good question. Honestly, I haven't tried the local LaTeX. I always use Overleaf and Word, but that's a very good question. Maybe I should check after this micro school, because even I don't have it. Yeah, do you know the answer?
Yeah, I think it'll definitely be worth a follow-up how to integrate this with all the different ways of using LaTeX and Overleaf or local one. But I know from my experience, I started out with Text Studio, so I know the easiest way to do it with Zotero is to export your entire collection as a .bib or a .bbl or bibtec, and download that file and then include it in your file system.
That's a good point that you mentioned that I forgot to mention. Yeah, there is a option that export library here. So if you export your library, there are a bunch of format. Yeah, bibtex I think is very common, or biblatex. So you can export this and then import it in your local tech. Yeah, that's the best option. I didn't do that, honestly, but yeah, probably that's the best option that you can do, because we can do it on Overleaf. Probably we can do it in your local tech editor.
Yeah, it just takes this extra step. I see there's a hand up. If you want to unmute your mic, you can ask the question.
Thomas.
Okay, can I ask my question now?
Yes.
Sure.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for the webinar. I have 2 questions. One, how can I add to Zotero an article which I don't have a personal or institutional access to? Then 2, the second question is, how can I change the citation stroke reference style directly without having to do the process again? More like I've already prepared an article, a manuscript that I wanted to send to a particular journal. Then perhaps I changed my mind, or maybe I had a rejection and I want to send to another, and I needed to format the citation and reference style according to the new journal. Is there a way I can automatically have a click to just change the citation format and the referencing without having to go and do the process all over again? Thank you.
I think, for example, are you writing your papers in Overleaf or Word? If you are, I assume that you are using Microsoft Word. Okay, but if you are using the Microsoft, you can unmute yourself if you don't need to raise your hand. It's like a micro school. It's very, but I think, you can just click on the document here, document preferences, and then, for example, let me just click on nature and click OK, and you see that it's, that's, I think, answer your second question. Okay, so you don't need to change anything, though. You have all your reference here, all your text. You just need to, let's say you added your citation, and second step, you added your bibliography, but now you got rejected from a paper journal you want to send it. Just click on the document preferences and then choose the other citation style. And then you can see it's in the real time, you can see the changes. Okay, I think that's your answer of the second question. But sorry, can you just repeat your first question again? Do you remember what was the first question?
Okay, the first question, I said, how can I add to Zotero an article in which I don't have access to, either personal or institutional access? By this is what I mean.
Okay.
Okay,
But
let me just
you can do
explain
it
briefly.
No,
Like
I think
outside, okay, if I'm
but
out of, okay, can I speak?
let me just, I think I got the question. Let's say I don't have access to this PDF, but you have access to the first page at least. Okay, it's a nature paper or whatever it is. But if you just click here, you can add it. Yeah, if you click here, you can add it to the Zotero. Of course, you don't have access to the full paper, but you can easily add it with Zotero connector, I'm sure. That's your question. Now you can explain if you are muted, sorry.
Last question. The last question is, like that's like you make reference to some articles that were published long ago that you may not have, they don't have an online presence. Like here in Nigeria, for example, there are articles that don't have online presence that we just have a scan copy, maybe from the library. Is there a way I can add it up to Zotero, or I needed to type it manually?
Yeah, the best option that I mentioned, yeah, you should add the new items here, and then go to if it's book, you can go click on book. If it's journal article, it's better to click on journal because there isn't any online version. Yeah, that's why I mentioned as the first way. It's not very popular way, but sometimes we have to. It's a very old paper published in 18 something or 19 something. So you can just click here. If it's a journal article, you can add your title, author, everything, and then it will be added to your library. Or if it's like a book, you can add your title of the book, authors, and it will be added to your library. Yeah, it's possible. That's why we have the manual option as well. You are more than welcome to ask your fourth question.
The previous question, okay, I think you've answered my questions. Thank you.
I'm happy. I'm happy that it helped. Okay. Do we have other question? We have a lot of participants today. That's very nice.
Yeah, I'm sure this is a very good popular topic that everyone would be interested in. I don't see
Yeah.
any more questions in the chat or Q&A, so I think most of them are answered, at least for now. But yeah, if you do have further questions, I'm sure there are ways to reach us, or we might do a follow-up on the micro-school to show it more with LaTeX and Overleaf, but we'll see how that goes. I'm glad that everyone enjoyed the micro-school so far, and
Thank
yeah,
you.
if you have any other...
And encourage the participant to send us email, to send to NITheCS email, then ask for a specific topic. If you want to have a specific topic for micro-school, you can send us email.
Yes, I just put my email in the chat now, that if anyone has any ideas or comments on previous micro-schools, feel free to send me an email and we will take into consideration and hopefully give another interesting micro-school coming soon. But yeah, I think if that's it for now, we can probably wrap up.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.